Dear colleagues, good morning. The topic of our report is grammar and similarity of languages. Those who gathered in the previous conference might remember that we already began this work last year. First of all, short contents of my report. The aim of our research is to show that similarity of human natural languages can be conveyed not only by phonetic data but also by grammar data. We are going to regard the world's largest typological database WALS and its possibilities in the sphere of establishing connection between human natural languages. We use two objective optimization and data mining, which are absolutely new for the sphere of linguistic studies. And we are going to show that grammatical or structural data, as well as phonetic data, can deliver information on the similarity of languages. We are going to speak about language isolates and microfamilies. I shall return to this term a bit later. They do not have genealogical relatives based on phonetic information, but they do have genealogical relatives based on grammar information. Short prehistory. In 1939, Prince Nikolai Trubetskoy defined 6 grammar features of all Indo-European languages. And in 1954, Emil Vladimir started an indirect discussion with him. He said that he found a language of North American Indians, the Kelma, that possessed all the 6 grammar features that Trubetskoy had defined. But the Kelma was an isolate language, and it was located on a different continent from other Indo-European languages, so there is no way it could be classified with them. We believe that the both authors were wrong in their own way. Trubetskoy did not have enough structural information on languages to make conclusions on the similarity of all Indo-European languages. And even at the present time, genealogical features of our family cannot be reliably defined by the frequency-based methods. And Benveniste was wrong in defining the possibility of classifying languages according to the genealogical principle based on grammar data. And it becomes more and more obvious that such classification can exist, provided that there is enough structural information on the languages. At different times, frequency-based methods were used by Silnitsky factor analysis, Rinch-Warnow phylogenetics on phonetic and grammar data, Polyakov, Makarova, Danilov, and Solovyov method of contrastive queries based on the information from the database Languages of the World of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Polyakov, Solovyov, Wichmann, and Belyaev phylogenetics on grammar data from the same database Languages of the World. Two-objective optimization in linguistics. It is the first time two-objective optimization is being used in linguistics. First, it was described as far as in 1881, and two-objective optimization proved itself in computer sciences, and it is used for solving economical and technical problems. In two-objective optimization task, we chose the main criterion method. When one criterion is chosen as the main one and the other one is chosen as restricted. We are going to consider the following 2 criteria. Percentage of matching feature values from WALS, that's the main criterion established to be at least 65%, and the number of coinciding features, and it is the restriction criteria, it is established to be at least 30. We created a database isolates using information from WALS program because it is available for free download and already presented in the form of an electronic database. The data necessary for our study included a list of languages, list of features, list of feature values, and descriptions of the languages according to the features. I'm going to say a few words about WALS because not everybody may be acquainted with it. WALS became the main source of information for our study. As I have already said, it's the world's biggest typological database. The first version appeared as a CD with a standalone application interactive reference tool, or the so-called WALS program. It contained description for 2,560 languages according to 142 features. The online version of the database, WALS Online, appeared in 2011, and now it has descriptions for 2,679 languages according to 144 features. WALS contains structural description of the languages according to 8 main areas of grammar: phonology, morphology, nominal categories, nominal syntax, verbal categories, word order, simple clauses, and complex sentences. And there are also much smaller areas describing lexicon, sign languages, writing systems, and paralinguistic usage of clicks. WALS contains 160 maps showing the geographical distribution of the features. And one characteristic of WALS is that it allows combining up to 4 features on a single map, which allows conducting studies on the correlation of features. When the authors of WALS were working on it, they used full grammar books, articles, some unprinted materials, dissertations, and their own knowledge. In total, WALS is the result of work of 55 specialists, and it is the first database that allowed scientists to compare unrelated languages all over the world. To objective optimization in linguistics. The aim of our study was to find a language with the highest percentage of matching feature values for any language under study. We used Microsoft Access as it is the easiest and the most accessible tool for such purpose. We executed 4 queries in order to find a structural maximally close or SMC language for any language under study. And we used a SQL-like language of Microsoft Access, because the factor SQL is the standard in the sphere of informational database. Now I shall speak about 4 queries that we executed. Above you can see the query itself in SQL, and below is the table presenting the results, the first part of the results of each query. Query 1 allows getting a complete list of languages, features, and values of grammar features. And in total, we receive over 58,000 entries. I'm sorry. Query 2 allows getting a list of languages and a number of their features whose values match the value of the language under study. Query 2 allows getting a list of languages and a number of their features whose values do not match the values of the language under study. And finally, the last query, query 4, it allows getting a list of languages and a number of their features whose values match the values of the language under study. The language is sorted by the decrease in the number of matches. And the query cuts off the results below 65% and below 30. I shall speak about the choice of parameters later. Here you can see, for example, the first line, the structurally maximally closed language for German is, for example, Dutch. They have 61 coinciding features and 85.25% of matching values. Now a few words about the choice of parameters. They were defined after a number of experiments. Here you can see the table. The first row is the family of the languages, then go 3 languages from each family. The range of percentage match of values of features, range of the number of common features, all results below 30 were cut off, and the number of similar languages before the first non-similar language appeared. So, for example, as for Turkish, the first two languages were relative to it, and then came a language that was not relative, and so on. And as for Turkmen, there was no enough data on the language, so the query result was inconclusive. Criticism of whole description and test A. The first results were very encouraging, but we believed that it needed some additional verification. Thus, we decided to check the validity of the data we received on the so-called test A. Test A included all languages from WALS program that began with the letter A. And unfortunately, the results were unsatisfactory. Only 15 languages out of 35, that is below 33%, belong to the same family. Here you can probably see the result of test A. Pluses mark the languages that belong to the same family, and minuses mark languages from different families. When we sent the first version of our article to a linguistic journal, we received some criticism concerning the information that we used. Reviewers said that when we used the whole set of data from WALS, we also used some unstructural data. So we believe that the results of the test A can be accounted for by the following facts. First, WALS does not have enough descriptions for all languages of the world. Besides, it includes some non-structural information such as lexicon, sign language, and moreover, some features have values like other and not reported, which in different languages do not necessarily mean that they match. As a result, such features and values were marked as insignificant and excluded from all the queries. Bless you. We made slight changes to the queries so that the values marked as insignificant were not taken into consideration, and consequently we lowered the minimal number of coinciding features to 26. We managed to find an SMC language for 523 languages. All other languages from WALS are either poorly described or the percentage of matching feature values were below the limit. This procedure reminds the stage of data cleaning within the framework of the data mining theory, but at the same time it has its own specificity of linguistic typology. Thus, after the cleaning, we preserved only the structural features from WALS. P pairs and G pairs of languages. Comparative linguistics aimed at establishing historical relatedness of languages compare their phonological and morphological systems, lexicon and syntax, but sometimes it considers only lists of basic concepts, the famous Swedish lists. We introduced three terms, P pairs of languages. These are the pairs of languages whose genealogical similarity was proven by the means of comparative linguistics and automated similarity judgment program, ISGP. And we call them P pairs from phonetic pairs. Pairs of languages found by the method I'm talking about were called G pairs of languages or grammatical pairs because they present structurally maximally close languages. And finally, pairs of SMC languages that are acknowledged to be members of the same family were called PG languages. On this diagram, you can see the distribution of G pairs and PG pairs of languages. In total, we managed to receive 523 pairs of languages. Black squares mark PG pairs of languages, it is languages from the same family, which also turned out to be grammatically, structurally, maximally close languages. And white circles mark the languages that are G pairs, but they belong to different families. And you can see 3 lines. Line 1 and line 2, vertical and horizontal, they show the limit of exception. It has 65% of matching values and 26 coinciding features. And the bold descending line was drawn through 4 pairs of G pairs of languages, and this line is believed to separate the area of G pairs of languages, that is, languages that are acknowledged to belong to the same family and turned out to be structurally maximally close. And the area below is the area of G pairs or P pairs of languages. We believe that genealogic relatedness of languages must be reflected in the grammar structure of these languages. And judging from the previous diagram, it stands true for the languages above the bold line. And we claim that once or if walls is replenished with more information, this conclusion will become more evident. No short break, I'm sorry. Now to the results of our study. Language isolates. A language isolate is a natural language that do not have a demonstrable relationship with any other human natural language. In contrast to unclassified languages, which are highly likely to be classified with some family once they are better described, language isolates, most of them have already been thoroughly studied, but they still do not show any relationship with an existing language family. For now, Wall's program has descriptions for 58 language isolates, and we managed to find an SMC language for 19 of them. Here you can see the results of the query for the 19 language isolates. The first row is the language under study language isolate. The next row is its SMC language. The third row is the number of matching features. And the last one is percentage of matching feature values in Wall's program. Here you can see the distribution of pairs, a language isolate and its structurally maximally closed language. You can see the same 3 lines that I have already spoken about, the two separating the area of admission, and the bold one separating the area of PG languages. It is languages from the same family and all other languages. As you can see, 15 pairs of languages fell below the line. It means that we cannot make any conclusion about them. But one pair of language, this one, they fell into the area of PG languages. So we claim that these two languages are relative. And TV language isolate belongs to the Ivajan family as well as the Maung language. And moreover, these two languages also meet the requirements set by Soren Wichmann and Eric Holmer. These scientists compared profiles of languages pairwise and set the boundary of 45 coinciding features and 81.5% of matching values. And their limits included the features and values that we marked as insignificant and did not take into consideration. Returning to TV and Maung, the whole set of phonetic information does not give any proof on the similarity of these two languages. And the question is how TV and Maung managed to preserve similarity in grammar but not in phonetics. And I would like to state that the possibility of their resemblance due to borrowings is discharged because these two languages are structurally closest to each other. And the second part of our research is microfamilies. Microfamilies is a term introduced by the authors of the present study, that is, by us. We believe that in some respect microfamilies are like language isolates. They include up to 10 languages, and they have a bit wider area of distribution than language isolates, and they also have dialects that can be accounted for by the fact that they had more favorable historical conditions. We studied 35 languages from 25 microfamilies. Each language from a microfamily was taken as a language under study, and a language from a different family that was structurally maximally close to it was chosen as an SMC language. Here you can see the graphic results of this study. Unfortunately, all 29 pairs of languages fell below the line, so it means that we cannot make any conclusions about them, unfortunately. Results. The method of search for SMC languages gave hope for establishing the connection between a language isolate and its relatives. And we suggested the following hypothesis. That first of all, grammatical or structural data, just like phonetic data, can deliver information on the genealogical similarity of languages. Language isolates and microfamilies do not have genealogic relatives based on phonetic data, but they do have relatives based on structural data. And the results for the language isolate Divi and its structurally maximally close language Maung allows us to suggest a hypothesis that these two languages are relative. Discussion. Optimization methods that we used in our study are widely used in all spheres. They are acknowledged to be part of computer sciences. But in linguistic typology, they were used by us for the first time. We decided on the variant of two-objective optimization as it best suits for the nature of the data. One of the goals of our research was to classify language isolates using a new formal method based on the structural information on the languages. We excluded all non-structural data and values that do not necessarily mean a match from our queries. The minimal number of coinciding features was established to be 26, and the minimal percentage of matching values was established experimentally to be 65%. And we drew a descending line separating the area of G languages from the area of G languages. The positive results of search for SMC languages for language isolates unfortunately included only one pair of languages, Divi, a language isolate, and Maung, a language from the Iwaijan family. And the other 18 pairs of languages fell below the line, which means that we cannot make any conclusions. Probably such results can be accounted for by the fact that only 20.6% of all languages from WALS program had enough description for our study. For many years, decades, scientists have been trying to classify language isolates using the whole amount of phonetic and accompanying information such as case system, prepositions and postpositions, endings, word forming and inflectional affixes, pronouns, names of plant and animals, and so on. But so far there is no result in this sphere. The formal method suggested in our research can help find genealogical relations between a pair of languages, but it does not answer the question on the type of their connection. In order to answer this question, we should study the historical contents, analyze the possible settlement of people along the continent and archipelagos, compare the areas of languages by the density of its population by ethnically close people. The historical space of the language existence is not connected with the development level of its speakers. Speakers of languages under study, of language isolates in our case, have lived in deep isolation for hundreds or maybe even thousands of years. So it would be wrong to consider the language of more civilized, more developed people to be the parent language and vice versa. Probably the best way to define the type of connection between a language under study and its structurally maximally closed language is to combine the formal method suggested by us and phylogenetic methods. Summing up, I would like to say that our research was based on information from the world's biggest typological database, WALS. We processed the data using a new formal method for typological studies and a method of two-objective optimization. We introduced three terms: P pairs of languages. These are pairs of languages that whose genealogical relationship was established by the methods of comparative linguistics and similar methods. G pairs of languages, these are pairs of structurally maximally closed languages defined by our method. And PG languages are the case when the languages are at the same time from one family and present structurally closest languages. We drew a diagram for 523 languages from WALS that met the requirements set at the beginning of our research. And through 4 points, through 4 pairs of G languages, we drew a line separating the area of G languages from the area of G languages. Our experiment showed that only 20.6% of all languages from WALS have enough grammar description for our study. The formal method was first applied to 19 language isolates from WALS program. The positive result was found only for 1 pair of languages, Tive and Maung, and we claim that these 2 languages are relative. The research was also conducted on 35 representatives of 25 microfamilies, but unfortunately the result for the microfamilies was inconclusive. That's us. Thank you for your attention.